What up, pup? Future me, digital me, how you doing? Full of glee? No. Pee pee, wee wee. Um, I just, I just recorded myself doing a little karaoke because I wanted to know what I sounded like. Singing something. The good news is it's not horrible. The bad news is it's not good enough for me to post. Um, so, no one's gonna see it. Um, I mean, it's better than like the baseline bell curve 50%. I'm pretty damn sure, but you know, I don't think contest wise I would be like winning. So maybe in a bar, karaoke place, I might be like, after doing it, they might be like, you weren't that bad. I'd be like, okay, like you weren't the best tonight, but at least you didn't like embarrass yourself beyond belief. Because some people, you get up there and you're like, all right, that was blah, blah, blah. I'm not finished with my song. Yes, you are finished with your song. Like, it's not that bad. It's good to know. I think everybody should listen to themselves once in their life. Now that we have the technology for everybody to do it themselves very easily, you can record yourself and listen to yourself singing, and there you go. Do it. Do it so that you have a decent idea of where you land, and there you go. I just like the kind of 90s. The era where I grew up in was basically like mid-late 90s to early 2000s, where everybody was like bow 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 bow, and every band had that singer with that voice that it was like you only need like bow, and it's like, yep, it's that guy. This is the band. It's that one. Even if you don't need to know the name of the band either. It's like, it's that one. I don't know who it is. I just know it's that one. And I'll give you an example. Creed. Yep. Now you know who it is. You know who I'm talking about. If you've ever heard Creed, one song, even like 30 seconds of a song, now you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, you know. That is a excellent example. So anyways, Rob Thomas. Anyways, on to what I'm talking about. The meat of the video. I know I took almost 5 minutes to start it, but I think it was worth it. I want to talk about veterans, and let me give a kind of prologue and everything. I'm going to try not to use names at all, if one gets in there, I just want to say it's not a name of a veteran, all right? It's not a name of one of the veterans I'm talking about. So it's the name of somebody else. Um, and if they're, and it might be a name of like someone like Trump. It'll be like a name of a famous person, somebody that is in the collective consciousness. So that right there. And I also want to say that like I'm not a vet and I've never been in the military or the police force or any shit like that. So, you know, some shit I could be wildly wrong about. So, just take what I'm saying as that. And, if you're offended, like all my videos, whatever, just be offended. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, just be offended. The door is, well, that door is right there, and there's a door right there. So, I mean, still a free country, so you can watch other stuff. You don't have to watch Trump TV, State Media, Fox. So, yeah. So veterans, people, veterans. Channel 5 News. I think it was this guy, Channel 5 News, in the interview with Hunter Biden, that both of them kind of talked about it, but I forget which one. It was like politicians use veterans to score points, and they always talk about, this, that, and the other thing. And basically they're right about that. And a lot of politicians have never served. John McCain was a veteran. Some politicians have served. I mean, you can look it up to see which ones have served. If you're really that interested. There used to be a time in American history, probably 1950 and before, where a lot of politicians were veterans, maybe like a third, a quarter-ish ended up being veterans, military people. It was just kind of a natural extension of serving in the military. You would serve in the body politic. But it isn't that way anymore. Politicians are politicians. Military personnel are military personnel. Anyways, that's not really what this is about. My idea of military personnel and veterans is a little different from most people. Most people along the spectrum just do what you're supposed to do, and they just, they see someone in military garb, thank you for your service. And I just see them, and if I do anything, I just nod. Because, I don't believe in that. I call it dick sucking, but I just don't believe in that, personally. One, because I just don't believe in that, and I believe it's very hollow. I believe it's very hollow to do something like that from the perspective of a civilian, for a lot of reasons. You will see that, you will hear that, but let's go over that. the first reason I would like to address is that it's being, you need to, you join the military. All right. There are a lot of things you do when you serve. There are a lot of functions you can fulfill, roles you can do in the military. I'm not really going to address all those roles. Let me just kind of be like, the main thing I'm going to talk about is the combat role. Because basically, people think of the military and that's what they think of. Nobody thinks of the sergeant that is the requisitions officer, or the cyber information guy, or just all these other little roles that are the non-combat roles, which are probably, I don't know for sure, but probably there are more of those in the military than the actual combat roles. Or at the very least, the combat roles are not, you don't do combat most of the time, even for the combat officers, unless it's like World War II, then like, yeah, okay, fine. But during peacetime, it's like probably something like 94% or 98% or something is just training, going on drills, sitting around, or filling out paperwork, looking over intelligence reports, maybe. Figuring out how not to be bored, kind of shit. And combat is like 2% in peacetime. Probably something like that. Maybe not 2%, but not like Saving Private Ryan kind of shit, where just everybody is fucking going to fucking war, shooting guys and figuring out how to blow up tanks. That's what I'm going to assume, but everyone as a civilian assumes, man, you're going into Fallujah, you're fucking taking out bad guys and buildings are blowing up, and so whatever. I'm just going to take this on from the viewpoint of the combat role is all I'm going to address. All right, so boom, with minor exceptions. And those should be glaringly obvious when they pop up. So, now that all the qualifications all the rules of the video are established, let's proceed, shall we? If you join the military, you should understand that you're joining the military, not, the Peace Corps or Doctors Without Borders or Mensa or, some kind of, think tank or some shit like that. All right? And an extension of that, what I mean is you are signing up to leave the borders of the United States generally speaking, going overseas, because the United States is contiguous, with the exception of Hawaii, Alaska, and some of the U.S. territories. So you are going overseas to put yourself in danger and again, generally speaking, kill brown people of one flavor or another. State-sanctioned murder is what you're signing up to do. And yes, everybody needs to understand that is what you're signing up for. State-sanctioned murder. All right. Let's just all agree that we're not mincing words here. All right. You are signing up for state-sanctioned murder. And this is not just the US here. Every person in every military around the world is signing up for state-sanctioned murder. All right. That's what you're doing. All right. You are not a police officer, except for maybe people in Germany, I don't know, where the military acts also as the police force. As far as I understand it to be, I could be wrong about that. And again, I'm only addressing the combat roles here, unless explicitly stated. Well, I said that before. So yeah, state-sanctioned murder. All right. Like Al Bundy said in Wayne's World, why is it when a man kills another man in the heat of battle, he's a hero, but when he does it in the throes of passion, it's called murder? Fucking exactly. There you go. State-sanctioned murder in the US, you get thrown in prison. We need to mentally understand that. All right. You can't just suck soldiers' dicks. All right. All right. Oh, you're a hero. Okay. Well, whatever. The soldiers that come back and have a conscience have to deal with everybody walking up to them going, oh, you're a hero, thank you for your service. And underneath, oh, thank you, you're welcome. Underneath that, there is a kind of scar. If they've killed people, whether it's a civilian accidentally or even an enemy, there's something inside them. If they're a good person, it still kills someone. You've committed murder. It's self-defense. But actually, you were in somebody else's country. You went into somebody else's home knowing, well, what you were going to do ahead of time. You know this. And on top of that, I'm betting these people had plenty of time in the dead of night before going to bed to realize, even the dumbest of these people had plenty of time to think about it and realize exactly what I'm talking about. You all people that said thank you for your service, you don't, because you're busy with your stupid lives. You just say thank you for your service and go on. Walking out of the fucking convenience store with your stupid bag of chips and your dumb Coke, and you get on with your lives, going home, fucking your wife, and making your stupid kids. But these people that did that shit have to live with that scar on their soul in order to make sure that there's enough oil or fucking minerals or whatever for a corporation that will allow you, the civilian, to keep fucking your wife and making stupid kids. So, now there is, again, that 1 in 1,000 scenario where that soldier did actually have to go and kill someone overseas to do something noble. It's something genuinely noble. Occasionally, there's a rampaging warlord committing genocide on blah blah blah. You know, that or something like that, and they go out there and they get to be the good guys. But usually, it's boredom or being a corporate mercenary that the corporations just don't have to pay for um, to protect freedom. And I'm not just saying this as theory or anything like that. I have talked to vets, so I know this kind of thing. And vets also have to do weird shit like I don't know if I want to actually tell the stories, but because it kind of would be giving away stuff, but stuff you wouldn't even think that military personnel would be tasked to do. All right, unless you're the family of a veteran, you wouldn't even hear the stories. All right, now go on YouTube and listen to veterans talking about the fucked up shit that they have to do that you just wouldn't even consider the military asking them to do. Just fucked up shit. And I'm not even talking about like, just look it up. It's probably on YouTube. I'm talking about the non-classified stuff. Just dumb shit that in its own way still leaves kind of a scar. Anyways. So, continuing on. Civilians and citizens, whatever, at home, we in that population, again, because I'm not a vet, we all know we want to support the veterans and help them. We know that. We say that, and we want to try and do that as much as possible. All right. Fair enough. Good intentions, noble intentions, right? Okay. So, you want to pay out veterans benefits, both in the direct payments and keep veteran centers open and VA health centers, VA hospitals. Okay, good job. Also noble, right? But a senator, again, and I will say this in lots of videos, Republicans mostly, but because Republicans kind of, for the last 40 years, have kind of steered the conversation in a lot of ways, particularly this way. You got to cut taxes. Taxes are too high. Everybody's taxes are too high. You can't pay taxes. You're paying so many taxes. All of you are paying too much taxes. So we got to cut taxes. Okay, so we cut taxes. Well, we can't cut defense spending, so we spend more on defense. But we don't spend more on veteran stuff. We spend less on defense stuff. We just spend more on weapons development and research. Because that's what Lockheed needs in order to develop new weapons, right? And because, man, here's the greatest lie ever. Uh, when they develop and build new weapons, that factory is going to bring 2,000 jobs, 4,000 jobs, 6,000 jobs to my district, which is, of course, a gross inflation and most of the times an outright lie. Total bullshit. At best, it's going to maintain the jobs that are already there. And usually, as time goes on, they're just going to lay people off anyways. And their budgets are always inflated. Their budgets they always overspend. Um, military spending is probably one of the most wasteful spending fucking in the entire budget ever. The most efficient part of the budget are the entitlements. They're the most efficient part of the entire budget. They always, especially the Republicans are the worst at this. They always want to cut entitlements. The entitlements part of the budget is the most efficient part of the budget. It's like 90, I don't know if it's 91 or 98% or something like that. It's unbelievably efficient. And the defense department spending is like 70%, if that. There is so much waste in the Defense Department spending. It's atrocious. If you wanna just steal money, start a defense company. Just be like, yeah, I'll build you a rocket engine that'll get you to Saturn. It's called the Fuck You engine, and it runs on lies and hope. It's going to cost you $40. I need to build 300 of them. That'll be $40 billion. And they'll give it to you. And you don't even need to show the receipts. Just be like, sure, sounds good. We want to go to space too, because then we can nuke the entire world. Excellent. It's just a fucking black hole waste. It's just like throw money down that fucking endless pit of nothing. That's where the waste is. So I should have taken a chainsaw to that motherfucker. And by the way, new airplanes, new defense, everything should be just completely scrapped. None of that stuff is worth jack shit. We should totally scrap almost every dollar from the Defense Department budget. All of it. We should change the budget as from the yearly spending. You should cut it down to like 10% of what it is now, because they don't need it. You could take about 50,000 drones and wipe out most of our military, with the exception of the goddamn infantry. So just scrap it all. It's worthless. The only thing that's worth keeping is maybe a lot of the Navy. Keep it. It's working fine. Keep it, maintain it. Keep the stuff we have. Researching, developing new stuff. I mean, who gives a fuck? Don't need it. Anyways, what we need to do for vets, what Trump did, firing all that shit, closing down vet hospitals, completely reverse that decision and take the money we save from what I just said and I don't know, give half of it to the veteran stuff. There we go. We still saved half that money. Yeah, I still saved. I just saved the country. I don't know, $1 trillion, whatever the fuck it is. Half a trillion, $1 trillion. There we go. And veterans are fucking taken care of. And in order to do all that, we're going to need a lot of research. So we can hire all the researchers back. And guess what? I just created a shitload of jobs, which everybody loves jobs. They just suck off the jobs people. Wow. I'm a fucking hero. But, again, they don't like people. Republicans hate people working for the government because they view government workers as leeches. Government workers are leeches and executives are the most productive people ever, which is anybody that works for a living knows that if you work for a corporation, you know the least productive people are management. The least productive people work in management. You know this if you work in a corporation. And you can cut management by probably 90% and be as productive or more productive. And the people at the very top, same deal. And the remaining people at the top, you can trim their income. You can either let them stay with a 90% reduction in salary, benefits, all that garbage, or you can say, bye-bye, no release bonus or anything. We're just firing you and getting rid of you. And the guy that was middle management, we're promoting him and tripling his salary. And he's going to run the company now. You know why? Because he's been here 20 years. He knows how to fucking do everything. And we're giving him the chance. He's going to give assistance. And we looked at his resume. Looks like he graduated with all the knowledge. I think he can do a good job. And if he can't, then we're a big ass company and we'll do fine either way. So, fuck off. We don't need to pay you $50 million bonuses every year. We can pay you nothing and get your ass out the door. And there we go. I just saved every corporation shitload of money by putting their management, the company's bureaucracy, on the chopping block. The people that make a business profitable are the people that make a business profitable. If you manufacture stuff, you need the manufacturing infrastructure, not the management infrastructure. You just don't anymore. So chop that off. Marketing and stuff, don't really need marketing anymore. Slash that. Just slash it. You need one marketing guy. That's it. One marketing guy and his assistant there. You don't need 10 guys. You don't need to hire consultants. You don't need nothing. McDonald's, same thing. The corporate, get rid of almost everybody there. McDonald's, you're going to do fine. Just slash everybody. Fucking get rid of almost fucking everybody. You're going to do the same. You'll be good. And there you go. I just sent your profits. I just increased your yearly profits, your year-end profits by, I don't know, 20, 30, 50%. And I did it for free. I don't even expect anything. You can give me money if you want to, but I don't expect anything. Maybe you can give money to, you can raise the minimum wage at your corporate locations, your non-franchise locations, the ones you control, which aren't very many, I realize, but I know you still own a few. So there you go. There's that. That's not relevant for the veterans part of this, but I think I pretty much covered everything for veterans, being that, citizens and civilians kind of suck at recognizing how shitty they treat veterans in practice. You give them a lot of lip play, a lot of salute the soldiers, but in actuality, you aren't ready to pony up the fucking dough. And if you think the representatives and stuff are, oh, fuck no, they aren't. Meanwhile, veterans are, most of them don't have the visual damage to show you how fucked up they are. I can tell you personally. The only veterans I know are physically, as far as I can tell, physically fine. The damage is on this part. So, yeah. I'm betting for most veterans, all of their wounds that they have are psychological. And the ones that have physical wounds also have psychological wounds. So, I mean, you either got one or you got both. I'm pretty damn sure. And you got a society that is only willing to pay you lip service. So, I mean, what? So that's why I say, that's why I don't say thank you for your service, because I think it dishonors whatever they do. I think basically the only way to honor them is to stop sending them to do a bullshit job, which personally I think, and have heard from the people that I talk to, is pretty much 90+% of the time they're doing a bullshit job. They're not doing what they were told they were going to sign up to do. It's a classic bait and switch move. Whether it's a deliberate thing from all the, I mean, Hollywood probably doesn't do it intentionally. They do it because Hollywood's a business and they want to sell movies. And the best way to sell a movie is not this week on USA Soldier Freedom. Sergeant Jenkins sits for 45 minutes and then takes a piss. The drama continues. I mean, do you want to watch that or no? So, then there's one episode where, you know, maybe his buddy gets shipped home who has an arm blown off, and then you find out they gave him a prosthetic arm, but he can't find a job. They don't want to help him get the arm fitted right. Every time he tries to go in, no one's there that can help him do it right. And it's just this constant fighting, and he can't get a job. And the benefits take 8 months to clear effectively. And then he keeps going in. He still wants to try and get a job so they can feel normal and contributing. And then his wife divorces him. And the only place he can find to rent is just a really shitty studio. And at the end, he kills himself. Oh, that's uplifting. I liked that tale. What, you didn't? You don't like the truth, do you? Well, I'm sorry. Maybe you should pay more taxes. Maybe you should not buy an iPhone every fucking time the new one comes out that is exactly like the fucking last one. But I don't know. These are all things that are connected that you don't think are connected. But guess what, bitch, they are. So, take a little journey with me on the road to enlightenment. Boobs.